What's going on, everyone out there? Steve's back today for my second video because I'm pretty late in doing one for my last Splinterlands post. And I like to talk a lot about Splinterlands because it's really one of the more rewarding games that I play. And I've been trying to grow my YouTube channel, and thank you to all the new subscribers. I know most of you follow me for my Binance Smart Chain coins and for all the things that I show you that make you yield farming and all those other things. And you should know that Splinterlands makes you passive income too if you use one of the botting services, and you can reach out to me to know the one I use. And they also have land coming out, which will have a part of the game where pretty much you stake your monsters into land, and you're going to be making good returns from that. So I'm hoping to see more of you think about checking this out if you haven't got into it yet. So every week over on the Hive blockchain, I also post my video about Splinterlands. And if you leave a comment here, you go ahead and get a chance at winning 1,000 DEC from me. It has to be a comment kind of relating to the video because I'm looking to reward people who are actually watching it here on YouTube or over there. I would try to put a link to this into my YouTube post too, so you can come over here and try to make a comment, but you do need to have a Hive account to be able to do that, or a 3Speak account, and you can go watch it on 3Speak and then make a comment there. But we'll go ahead and do the quick giveaway, and then we'll get to talking into some of the news that's going on right now about Splinterlands, because they've been having some really cool stuff get going, some really good news, and they keep teasing a pretty major thing that's going on. Oh, wow. Jay Fang is a really good follower of mine. He's always commenting on my things. So he might seem to win a lot, but that was a live spin, right? So I'm going to get him his DEC sent off. And then I select player, Jay Fang. I'll transfer that out. Congratulations. Once again, I'll confirm. As you can see, Hive works a lot like things that you may have seen. The Hive keychain works a lot like MetaMask and other things, and it's pretty fast, a lot faster than Ethereum or anything else. So if you're not over here checking this kind of stuff out, it's pretty cool. Also, you can create a Hive account with many ways, and you can create a Splinterlands account, which will get you a Hive account many different ways. They accept a lot of different cryptos, and that's one of the first pieces of news, is that you can now buy crypto or buy credits within the Hive store with a new crypto. So let's go ahead and find that new crypto. They put it at the bottom. It's Cub, right? And one of the things I've talked about is Cub Finance, because it is connected to the Hive people, and you should really be looking into this if you're somebody that has a little bit of extra sorry, I'm a little sleepy. This is my dark energy crystals. See, I told you I had to be sleepy, because this dark energy crystal right here to BUSD paying out 167% is a pretty good farm to be in, because DEC and BUSD are pretty close to being a stable coin, but you're still getting the 160% payout, unlike here where you're only getting a 92% payout when you actually do the and this one's down to 80 on the actual stable farm. So you get about up to twice the return. And a DEC, since it is pegged to $1 in the store for 1,000, it is close to being a stable coin, though we know it does dip down in the secondary market to like the 90% mark, but it kind of stays there, and then it dips down every once in a while a little bit lower, and then it comes back up. So my last video was more about this. I don't want to go too much into it, but it was nice to see Cub get one more use case for players, because now you can come over here, you can put your DEC in here, you can farm Cub, and then you can just buy credits in the store with your Cub, or technically you could trade the Cub back for DEC right over here on Binance Smart Chain, and then send the DEC into your wallet. So you could always kind of do that, but they give you another way to do it, and sometimes you'd rather buy credits than DEC depending on what you plan to do, and it's a little bit quicker sometimes, but you'll just have to decide if you want to use that feature or not. The other thing we're going to talk about is the new airdrop card. I haven't really talked about this card. It came out a little while ago. I feel like, well, maybe I did talk about them a little bit, but I want to go ahead and just update you guys. I did max them out. I said I was going to do that. I just went ahead and started purchasing them about $1 when they were about $1 to a little bit under $1. I maybe could have been a little bit more patient, and I should have realized that sometimes these airdrop cards, the first week they're a little bit pricey, and then they start to go down, and then they come back up as the people who got them airdropped finally run out, and we have to have them come out of packs. So right now you can get them at a better price if you wanted to get them. So the Goblin Fire Mage is really an all-star in the Little League for the fire team. He really brings them back into a team that can compete there. They had been kind of replaced by the Earth team and the Life team, in my opinion, as the two best Little League teams. But I really want to try out Fire now a little bit more in Little League. So if any of you are using him there, let me know if that's really working. The other thing that he helps with is Fire was already pretty strong for low mana cost games. They have some pretty good cards that cost 1 and 2 and 3 mana and 4 mana. So now, if you got one of those like 15 or less, Fire is definitely a playable card team now. This blind function is pretty interesting, and I really think the spell, as the game moves along and more things going on, the spell is going to seem a lot more important than maybe some people think it is. It's one of those functions that not a lot of us have on a lot of monsters. We don't use it that often, but I really do feel it's a pretty strong ability. So the other thing we'll talk about a little bit in the game is the Brawls system. So if you're in a guild, Brawls got added in. Yeah, let me go over to my guild. So we have this new tab here, and we're doing guild fights. So in this brawl, we have 13 guilds competing. I didn't have that many fights to do because it turns out that only 2 other people signed up for Silver Untamed out of our 13 guilds. So far, I won 2 fights and lost 1. But just to give you an idea, if you don't know much about how brawls work, you get matched up against a certain amount of guilds. You get a certain amount of phrase that you get to pick, and then you go ahead and each guild member does their battles. And as you can see, this one, he was in a battle where 7 people signed up. This was Fray 2, which was bronze, any bronze, it looks like. So that's obvious that you're going to have a lot more matches there. This one was silver anything, so they had a few more matches with 4. This one was actually silver anything. This one they had 6 people sign up for, though. This was a copper or a novice one, so that you had 7 different guilds sign up for them. There obviously does seem to be a little bit of a lack of participation in these, and it might be because individual rewards have not yet been added, but in the last AMA they did explain that we would be able to earn individual rewards for our performances, because some of the guilds who don't have the best players or know that their guild maybe can't compete, you're not as incentivized to make sure you sign up, make sure you play, because you're like, the guild's only going to win a couple crowns. If I don't play, it's no big deal, and there's not really that much fighting for the spots. But pretty soon, when you can start earning some kind of points that's allowing you to earn things from the Brawl shop that's going to be added into the game, I feel like Brawls are really going to start to kick off and become a much more popular part of the game. And it's something to just be aware of. So if you're not currently playing in them, or you don't have a guild, there are free guilds to join out there. There's also guilds that require a little bit more to be a part of. But it's going to be part of the game. You're going to want to play. You're going to be able to earn rewards another way inside Splinterlands. And so if you're an active player and you enjoy the game, just make sure that you're checking out Brawls. You're getting a feel for them. It's a learning process to learn these battles. If you're somebody who's playing at the higher ranks and you want to come in and you want to compete in novice and bronze and silver, and all of a sudden you realize that those healers you use don't heal anymore, a certain monster that has self-heal at higher levels doesn't have it anymore, or somebody who has much better stats at higher level is just not as useful at the low level, and you kind of have to retrain yourself how to compete in those. And I know that might be a stretch for some of us because we've been kind of pushed away from competing in those tournaments because of the extra fees we have to pay to get into them if you're at one of the higher ranks. So that's just one thing about the Brawls that I just kind of wanted to bring up and go over and just make sure that people kind of understood. We're a couple weeks into it. My guild's been doing pretty good. We're probably going to be moving up, but I am lucky enough to be in one of the bigger guilds. So that was kind of the main things I wanted to talk about in this post. I didn't want to make it too long. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Brawl system, the fact that, the one thing they did do, let me just show this really quick, is they changed the cost of upgrading these because they realized that it was going to be a little bit more grindy than they wanted it to be. So now they've changed the amount of these special things that you need for these first few levels. And to me, it was a good idea. They changed it around. It's still going to take some time, but they did roll it out, and they do have some changes coming to the arena. I think they actually might be live now for this one, but they were announced on Friday during the AMA that they would be taking away some of the gold battles from these beginning arenas, because in the beginning we're fighting at level 1, like bronze, silver, and stuff like that. So they're saying, we won't really have the gold games in those matches anymore. We'll have those gold matches as you level up your arena, and it will become more necessary. But it's definitely showing us that guilds are going to have to start some cooperation or some teamwork and planning as we get to these higher levels, if we really want to be able to compete in every fray, because even our guild has an issue with fielding, like an alpha gold set. Not everybody has those, and especially if we start getting to the upper levels and you're trying to compete in, say, gold or diamond or higher with gold cards, it's going to become more challenging, and the teams that have somebody that can actually join that are going to be pretty dominant. But you also might have teams that just decide to don't join it, because if you can't win those fights, why fight them? Because you're just giving points to the other teams that can. I would suggest one thing the team could look into doing is, if you sign up into a zone, and like someone like me that only got 2 other people to sign up, so we only have three, so basically like 10 guilds decided not to play against us, that if they don't fill the spot, that maybe they get a negative point and we get, I don't know, a half a point or some kind of points for each of those people that didn't even decide to field. Maybe it could be like 4 or 5 of them don't show up and you get a point. I don't know, something. But it seems like I was like, oh man, it's like I usually do pretty good. I'm 2-0. I might go 3-0, but I only get 3 fights, so I can only earn my team 9 points. Maybe I should have played at a different area, but I do pretty well in silver, so that's where I chose to be. And it was kind of a bummer to see that, like, I didn't know or realize that, like, I maybe should have moved somewhere else and competed in some other position. Or it's just an interesting little thing of how you can end up with not very many fights. Maybe that won't be a problem later on when you get those individual rewards and more people are playing. Other than that, I just want to say thank you to all of you who are subscribing to my YouTube channel. I know I cover a lot of different games. I cover a lot of different projects on Binance Smart Chain. I'm looking into covering projects on Solana and ADA when they really get up and get going, and I understand them. I'm just, I'm not the richest crypto person in the world, so I can't put large amounts of funds on all of those chains. So for now, I'm making money on Binance Smart Chain. I'm a big fan of Cub Finance, of Goose Finance, of a couple other projects over there, and I've took a flyer on a couple little coins. And so I'm just going to pretty much keep updating people on those projects, see how they're going, keep telling you about Splinterlands. I'm going to be making some more Gala Games content soon, because that seems to be pretty popular, so I know it's lacking out there in the space. It's just the Ethereum chain is very frustrating to use, and every time I play Gala Games and I spend all of that time and then I win some tokens and I don't even want to claim them because it costs too much, it's very, very frustrating. That's why I do. And I might start to feature some of the Hive games that I'm still playing. I still play games like Rising Star, and I feel like that game's had a lot of development recently. And I'll be also sharing more stuff on the Wax blockchain, like the R Planet and the Alien Worlds posts that I've done recently, hopefully following up with more information on some of the other projects that are over there. Thanks, everybody, and have a good night.